Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So let us begin with Mangalacharan prayers. Om अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्म परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभ परपुंसामन्ते नारायण स्मृतिः। अकाम सर्वकामो वा मोक्षकाम उदारधि तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम्। अहमेवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परम् पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्। ऋत्यर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावशेषनो प्रविष्टान्यप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेषहम्। एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत्स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा। अत्र सर्गो विसर्गश्च स्थानं पोषणमूतयः मन्वन्तरेशानुकथा निरोधो मुक्तिराश्रयः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So Amrit Gaurangi Mataji, please read. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. Beg your pardon. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, text number 10. 2.10.10. Can you read the translation? The Sanskrit verse and the translation, please. Hare Krishna. Mataji, you are, I think, muted. Go
Are
ahead.
you able to hear me, Prabhu, now?
Yes, now we can hear you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Purushondam vinirvidhya yadasau sa vinirgataha atmanoyanam anvichan aposhrakshichuchihi shuchihi. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord Mahavishnu, which came out of the causal ocean, the place of appearance for the first Purusha Avatara, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental water, Garbhodaka. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amrit Gaurani Mataji. So, Sri Shukdev Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit that there is the spiritual world and there is the material world. The first Purusha avatar, that is Mahavishnu, also known as Karanodakashayi Vishnu, appears from the Karan Sagar, from the causal ocean. Causal ocean is Vishuddha Sattva. Causal ocean is Satchidananda Vigraha. Causal ocean is transcendental and completely spiritual. It's not H2O, material water. No, it is spiritual substance, the causal ocean. And from that causal ocean, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Mahavishnu, appears, who is the first Purusha avatar. Then, from the different pores of the transcendental body of Lord Mahavishnu, different universes, Brahmandas, they enter. They manifest. They come out. Different Brahmandas come out from the body of Lord Mahavishnu. In each of those universes, Lord Mahavishnu enters and lies down on created transcendental water, Garbhodaka. The Garbhodaka water is also transcendental. It is not mundane water. And on the Garbhodaka Sagar, on the Garbhodaka ocean, the second Purusha avatar, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, lies down. That is what has been described. Then purport by our beloved founder Acharya, Srila Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada writes in the second sentence of the purport, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and all his plenary portions and extensions of plenary portions are non-different from one another. Means Krishna and Krishna's different incarnations, the Purusha avatars in this case, they are non-different from Krishna, which means they are also Vishnu Tattva. And thus, the supreme independence is in each and every one of them, because each and every avatar of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Each and every avatar is completely independent. In order to prove this, Sri Shukdev Goswami, as promised to Maharaj Parikshit, describes herein the independence of the Purusha avatar. How the Purusha avatar is separate and independent. Vinirvidya, they are separately situated, they are independent. So to prove this, Sri Shukdev Goswami is describing to Maharaj Parikshit the independence of the Purusha avatar, of the personality of Godhead, even in the sphere of material creation. Even within material creation, the forms of Krishna, the different incarnations of Krishna remain independent. They are not dependent on material nature. Such activities of Lord Vishnu are also transcendental. One may think, what is so special about the activities of the different Purusha avatars in the material world? It sounds completely mundane, that how the material universes are created and all the material universes are annihilated. What is so spiritual about it? I want to know Vrindavan Leela. Such pastimes of Lord Vishnu are also transcendental, and therefore they are also Leela or pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Such pastimes of the Lord are very conducive to the hearers for self-realization in the field of devotional service. So all activities of Krishna are very conducive for our spiritual development. Some may argue, why not then relish the transcendental Leela of Lord Krishna as he exhibited in the land of Mathura and Vrindavan, which are sweeter than anything in the world? Why should we study these activities of the Purusha avatars in the material world? Why not just study Vrindavan Leela? It is so sweet. Now, please listen carefully. The answer to this argument is there. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies that the pastimes of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna in Vrindavan are meant to be relished by advanced devotees. Devotees who are advanced, they can relish the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. Neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna, and therefore Lord Krishna's pastimes in the material world, in the material sphere, related to creation, maintenance and destruction, Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. These activities of Krishna in the form of Purusha avatars, Vishnus, in the material world, are very relishable by the Prakrit Bhaktas, the mundane devotees. The mundane devotees, they should begin with understanding the activities of Krishna in the material world. The Srijan Leela, the Palan Leela, and the Samhar Leela. These must be understood by the materialistic devotee first, the Prakrit Bhakta. Only then they can relish the Vrindavan pastimes. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. That's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said. Then, towards the end of this purport, if you go to the second last paragraph, few sentences up from the end of the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says something very sweet. The most wonderful manifestation of Lord Vishnu's power is exhibited when the infinite Lord becomes visible to our eyes as one of us, which means the best part of Krishna's activities is when he comes in the material world and becomes one of us. When he comes as Krishna, when he comes as Ram, that is the sweetest part of Krishna's Leelas. Lifting a mountain at the age of 7 years and marrying 16,000 wives in the prime of his youth are some of the examples of Krishna's infinite energy. But the Mudhas, after seeing these Leelas or hearing about them, they decry them as some legendary mythology and take Lord as just one of them. They cannot understand that Lord Krishna, although in the form of human being, by his own potency, is still the Supreme Lord with full potency as the Supreme Controller. What verse is this? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shama Kishori Mataji, what verse is this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is it Avajananti Mam Muda Manusham Tanumashrita?
Very good. Correct. So read text 11. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tasvavatsit swasrishtasu sahasram parivatsaran tena narayano nama yad apaha purushodbhavaha. That Supreme Person is not impersonal, and therefore is distinctively a Nara or person. Therefore, the transcendental water created from the supreme Nara is known as Nara. And because he lies down on that water, he is known as Narayan.
Ayan means to rest. So Narayan means the Supreme Lord, who is not impersonal but is a person. He's a Nara, the Supreme Nara. He he lies down on the water that comes from him, which is called Nara. And because he lies down, he is called Narayana. That is the name of the Supreme Lord. Then Saroja Nandini Mataji, you can read text 12, please.
Modes and the living entities who are meant to enjoy them all exist by his mercy only, and as soon as he does not care for them, everything becomes non-existent.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely recited and read. So all the material ingredients, time, modes of material nature, even the living entities who are trying to exploit material nature, they are all existing yad anugrahata, only by the anugraha, the mercy of Krishna. And when Krishna does upeksha, when Krishna neglects, then everything will be non-existent. Nasanti. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the living entities are the so-called enjoyers of material ingredients, the material time, material modes of nature, etc., only because they want to lord it over the material nature. We have come to this material world exploiting the material resources for only one reason, and that is we want to do it. We want to enjoy in this material world. That's why we have been placed here. Lord Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yadnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. And the living entities are meant to assist the Lord in his enjoyment. Jivera Swarup hai, Krishna Nityadas. That is a normal situation, but we want to enjoy, and therefore this material world is created. If you go down the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, as such, the spirit of enjoyment by the living entity in the material world is false. This tendency to become lords and masters and controllers and enjoyers in this material world, it is just a fallacy. It's just false. In the spiritual world, the living entities are pure in nature, and therefore they are associates in the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. In the material world, the spirit of enjoyment of the living entities by dint of their own actions, karma, gradually fades by the laws of nature. In this material world, my dear friends, we want to do activities thinking that these activities will bring us sense gratification, will bring us enjoyment. Just karma karo or enjoy karo. Make your own destiny. Man is the maker of his own destiny, they say. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that we may perform certain pious karma, which will get us sense gratification in this material world, but our karma gradually fades away. It is like a debit card. No matter whether we have $1 million or $10 million, if we keep spending, one day the money will run out. Those who have less money in their debit account, their money will run out faster. Those who have a lot of money, their money also will run out, but it may take a little longer. Some people may keep enjoying for a few births, few lifetimes. But Shine Punne Martyalokam Vishanti. Ultimately, the debit card account will be depleted, and then we are Punarmushika Bhava. We become back to square one. Back to square one means what? Sapsidi ka game. We have played Sapsidi, Snakes and Ladders. It's got 100 squares. Back to square one. We may go nice progress, 70, 75, 70, almost there, and then snake, back to square one. We come back to the square one. So that's material nature. So our karma fades away, and thus the illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned souls that they should become one with the Lord. So when we come back to square one, we become very frustrated. And we think, what is the purpose of this world? What am I doing here? Why did I come here? And then material nature dictates, oh, actually you are God. Actually you can become God. You have just forgotten that you are God. So Prabhupada says, illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned souls that they should become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya. This is the last snare of the material energy. When this last illusion is also cleared off, so first is the desire for bhukti, sense gratification. When that is frustrated, we develop a desire for mukti. Generally, sayujya mukti. We want to become one with the Lord. But even when we give up this desire for mukti, we become free from bhukti mukti. Jnana karma adi anavratam. When this last illusion is also cleared off by the mercy of the Lord, the living entity, the jiva, again becomes reinstated in his original position and thus becomes actually liberated. Only when we give up the desire for bhukti mukti, then we can attain Krishna. Rishi Prabhu, please read text number 13.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 13. Eko nanatvam avichan yogo talpat samuttitaha viryam hiranmayam devo maya yavya srijatridha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Vijay. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Rishi Prabhu.
Thank you.
So, the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, Purusha, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, Yoga Nidra, Yoga Talpat, generated Viryam, his divine seminal, which is Hiranmayam, is golden in color, golden seminal symbol, through external energy, out of his own desire. Why? To manifest living entities from himself. In the third paragraph of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, as such, before the creation or manifestation of the material cosmic world, Lord Vishnu exists as total energy, Maha Samashti, and thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, Ekoham Bahusyam. He expands himself further into multi-total energy, Samashti. From the multi-total energy, he further expands himself into individuals in Visrijat Tridha. Look at the end of the verse 13 that we just read. Mayaya Visrijat Tridha. Krishna manifests himself through the expansion of his energy. From the multi-total energy, he further expands himself into individuals in three dimensions: Adhyatmik, Adhidaivik, and Adhibhautik, as explained before. This is Vyashti. We saw that in the previous class. As such, the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. Because everything is an emanation from Mahavishnu, Mahasamashti, nothing of the cosmic energies is different from him. Everything is coming from him. But as such, all expanded energies have specific functions and display, just as designed by the Lord. And therefore, they are simultaneously different from the Lord also. Just like a child comes out from the parents, half the DNA is from the father, half the DNA is from the mother. So is the child different from the parents? No, he is their Atmaja. He has taken birth from their bodies. But at the same time, he is an individual or she is an individual. So there is difference also. Same thing between the Lord and us. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Krishna is our mother and father, Krishna and Radharani. The living entities are also similar energy, marginal potency of Lord Krishna, and thus they are simultaneously one with Krishna and different from Krishna also. This is Achintya Veda Tattva. Vamshivadan Prabhu, please read text 14.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Adidaivam atadhyatmam adibhutam iti prabhu ataikam paurusham viryam tridabi yata tachrunu. Translation. Just hear from me how the potency of his lordship divides one into three, called the controlling entities, the controlled entities, and the material bodies in the manner mentioned above.
So who is controlling entity? What is the term? Sarojanandini Mataji?
Adhyatmik.
Controlling.
Adhyatmik.
I'm sorry,
Adhyatmik.
Prabhu. What were you
Adhyatmik.
asking?
No, wait, let Sarojanandini Mataji answer. So, three types of entities are described: controlling entities, controlled entities, and material bodies. We discussed this in the previous class. So, what is the technical name for controlling entities?
Devatas.
Correct, Adhidaivik. Very good.
Devas.
Then Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji, what is the technical name for controlled entities?
Conditioned souls.
Hmm?
Conditioned souls.
Correct, Adhyatmik. Very good. And what is the technical name, Vamshivadan Prabhu, for the material bodies?
It's Adibhuti.
Correct.
Adibhutam. Yeah.
Correct. So, Adhidaivik means controller. Surya. Remember in the last class we discussed the example of sun god, Surya. Controller. Then Adhyatmik are the controlled, and our material bodies, which is the via medium between us, is the Adhibhautik. And this will be explained with another example in just a few verses. So now, Janani Mataji, can you please read verse number 15? So basically in verse number 14, Shri Shukdev Goswami is saying, Tachrunu, just hear from me how the potency of Krishna divides one into three. Three. Adhidaivik, Adhyatmik, Adhibhautik. Okay. Go ahead, Janani Mataji, please. Verse number 15.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Anuprananti yam pranaha pranantam sarva jantusho
No.
apanantam
Text 15.
apananti.
Text 15, Mataji.
Text 15. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Antah sharira akashat purushasya vicheshtatah ojah saho balam jajne tatah prano mahanasuho. Translation. From the sky situated within the transcendental body of the manifesting Mahavishnu, sense energy, mental force, and bodily strength are all generated, as well as the sum total of fountainhead of the total living force.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Thank you, Janani Mataji, for so nicely reading. So this Purushasya in this verse refers to the first Purush, that is Mahavishnu. It is described that from the transcendental body of Mahavishnu, the Oja, the vital energy of our senses, all our senses, eyes, Granendriya, all the senses, we see, we smell, we taste, we hear, everything comes from Mahavishnu. Then our mental force, Sahaha, that comes from Mahavishnu also. And Balam, our strength also comes from Mahavishnu. So all our Oja Shakti, our senses, our mind, our physical strength, everything comes from Mahavishnu. We have our origin in Mahavishnu. Then Ajay Govind Prabhu, would you like to read text number 16, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Text 16. Anuprananti yam prana prananantam sarvajantashu apanantam apananti nardevam ivanugaha. Translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vaibhava Swami Srila Prabhupada. As the follower of a king follow their lord, similarly, when the total energy is in motion, all other living entities move. And when the total energy stops endeavoring, all other living entities stop sensual activities. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Ajay Govind Prabhu. Very nice. So as the followers of a king follow the Lord, similarly, when the total energy is in motion, all other living entities move. And when the total energy stops, living entities also stop. So we are totally dependent on Krishna. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the individual living entities, which means all of us, are completely dependent on the total energy of the Supreme Purush. See, Krishna is the possessor of all energy. So if we think I have got energy to do something, we should know that energy comes from Lord Vishnu. No one has independent existence, just as no electric lamp has independent effulgence. Each and every electrical instrument fully depends on the total powerhouse. The total powerhouse depends on the reservoir of water for generating electricity, and water depends on the clouds depend on the sun depends on creation, and the creation depends on the movement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is Sarva Karana Karan, the cause of all causes. How Srila Prabhupada traced every source of strength. Ultimately, Krishna is the cause of everything. So, Satyarupa Mataji, please read text 17.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
प्राणेनाक्षिपताक्षुत्रड अंतराजायते विभोः पिपासतो जक्षतश्च प्राणमुखं निरभिद्यत. Translation by Srila Prabhupada.
Very nicely recited. Very nicely recited the Sanskrit shlok, but not as nice as your mother. Janani
Thank you,
even better.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation. The living force, being agitated by the Virat Purusha, generated hunger and thirst, and when he desired to drink and eat, the mouth opened.
So our prana means the living force. Our prana also is stimulated, activated by the Virat Purush. Virat Purush is the sum total of all living entities. So our thirst, our hunger, our desire to eat, desire to drink, everything, it has its origin in the Virat Purush, in Lord Vishnu. The third sentence of the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, the desires for all kinds of sense perception and sense organs exist in the Supreme. So we have a desire to eat, Krishna also has a desire to eat, that's why we have a desire to eat. We desire to see, Krishna desires to see, that's why we also have the power to desire to see. This desire is the nature of the Supreme Living Being. Who is the Supreme Living Being? Lord Vishnu. The absolute truth. Because Lord Vishnu has the sum total of all mouths, the individual living entities have mouths. Similarly, with all other senses and sense organs. So we have mouth because Krishna has mouth. We have eyes because Krishna has eyes. Are you understanding? We are mini expansions from Krishna. Now, very commonly, some people may argue, you are saying Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is Sarva Karana Karanam. And how is Krishna? Venu Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksha. He has got two hands. He holds a flute. Even so many musicians play flute. He has two eyes. We also have two eyes. Krishna has curly hair. We also have hair on the head. Krishna wears shoes. We also wear shoes. Krishna wears dhoti. We also wear dhoti. Krishna puts a turban. We also put a turban. Arey, how can the original Lord be just like us? We have two legs. He has two legs. We have a waist. He also has a waist. What is going on? We have a nabhi. Umbilicus. Umbilicus is a sign that we were once connected to the mother through the umbilical cord for nutrition. The Supreme Lord, who has no father, no mother, he also has a Namo Pankaj Nabhaya. Arey Baba, how can the Supreme Original Lord, who is the cause of all causes, have a body just like your body? You are simply superimposing your conceptions of a body onto the Lord. I have two eyes, so the Supreme Lord also must have eyes. I have hair, Supreme Lord also must have hair. I have eyebrows, so that my sweat doesn't go into my eyes. And Krishna also has eyebrows. Does Krishna need to protect his eyes? I have got eyelids, Krishna also has eyelids. Our eyelids are meant to protect our eyeballs. Does Krishna also need to protect his eyeballs? So we are simply imagining, you are simply imagining that the Supreme Lord has a form, two-armed form, just like human beings. This is nonsense, they say. You are superimposing your material conceptions on the Supreme God. That Supreme God also must be like this. But actually this argument is bogus. Because here Srila Prabhupada is saying that, why does my kurta have two hands? Vamshivadan Prabhu, how many hands does your kurta have? Show me. Why? Why not four?
Because Krishna has two hands.
No, because you have two hands. Your kurta has two hands because you have two hands. My kurta has two hands because I have two hands. If I had four hands, I would tell the tailor to make a kurta with four hands, correct?
Yes.
So my kurta has two hands because I have two hands. I have two hands because Krishna has two hands. Man is made in the image of God. It is mentioned in the Bible, Holy Bible. Man is made in the image of God. Same thing Srila Prabhupada is saying, that because Vishnu has sum total of all mouths, the individual living entity has mouths. And similarly with all other senses and all other organs. So it's not that we are superimposing our conceptions of a body on Krishna. We are not imposing our preconceived notions of a physical morphology on Krishna. It is the opposite. Because Krishna is like this, I am like this. So if someone goes to your wardrobe and looks at your kurtas, why Vamshivadan Prabhu's all kurtas have two hands? Somebody enters your wardrobe and looks on the hangers. Why your kurtas have two hands? Why not 5 hands? Why not 7 hands? Why not 8 hands? Well, because the owner has only 2 hands. Therefore, the kurtas are meant. So similarly, we are emanations from Krishna. And because Krishna has 2 eyes, we have 2 eyes. Not the other way. Because Krishna has 2 eyes, we have 2 eyes. Because Krishna has 1 mouth, we have 1 mouth. The difference is Krishna's eyes and Krishna's mouth and Krishna's hands are perfect and beautiful. But because we are perverted reflections, we are perverted reflections. Our mouth stinks. We have to brush, floss, mouthwash, tongue cleaner, all this gadgets. 4 gadgets we need just to take care of the mouth. We have to floss. We need toothpaste to clean. We have tongue cleaner. So many things we have to do. So much prapanch just for one mouth to keep it clean. And then we need shaving cream. We need razors. We need this, that. We need oil for the hair. We need comb. So much prapanch. Because our body is not Satchidananda Vigraha. But Krishna's body is Satchidananda Vigraha. So like that. So please understand this concept that we have this body with 10 fingers because Krishna has 10 fingers. We have 2 legs because Krishna has 2 legs. Text 18. Aradhya Madhavi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Mukhatastalu nirpindam jihva tatro pajayate tato nana raso janye jihvayayo adhigamyate. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. From the mouth, the palate became manifested, and thereupon the tongue was also generated. After this, all the different tastes came into existence, so that the tongue can relish them.
From the mouth, the palate came. And then the tongue came. After this, all the different tastes came into existence, so that the tongue can taste them. So first mouth, then palate, then tongue, then taste buds. And then the tastes came into existence. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is going to explain the concept of Adhidaiva, Adhyatmik, and Adhibhautik again. This gradual process of evolution suggests the explanation of the controlling deity, Adhidaiva. Because Varun, the lord of the water, Varuna is the controlling deity for all relishable juices. It is a medical fact that we cannot taste anything with the tongue if there is no water. For the taste buds on the tongue to perceive any taste, sweet taste, salty taste, bitter taste, sour taste, there must be water. So people who have dry mouth, Sjogren's syndrome, they are not able to taste if the mouth is complete. Imagine if our mouth is completely dry like a desert, there will be no taste, absolutely no taste. For taste to be perceived, there has to be saliva, there has to be water in the mouth. Therefore, whenever we see food and we are hungry, the mouth starts watering. So, and who is the lord of water? Varun Dev. So Varun Dev is the controlling deity of all liquids. Therefore, the mouth becomes the resting place for the tongue, which tastes all the different juices, of which the controlling deity is Varun Dev. This suggests, therefore, that Lord Varun was also generated along with the development of the tongue. The tongue and the palate, two palates are there, hard palate in the front and soft palate behind, above the tongue, the roof of the mouth. The tongue and the palate, being instrumental, are adhibhutam. They are the instrument, like the body. They are the instrument, the tongue, the palate, adhibhutam, or forms of matter. They are the forms of matter with which the control deity is identifying. But the functioning deity, who is the living entity, the jiva, is the it should be adhyatma. Whereas the person undergoing the function, the person undergoing the function is adhyatma, the jiva. Adhyatma, our body is adhibhut, and the controlling deity like Varuna Dev or Surya Dev is Adhidaiva. Thus, the three categories are also explained as to their birth after the opening of the mouth of the Virat Purush. Now, Virat Purush is a sum total of all the sense organs, sum total of all the living entities in this particular universe. The four principles mentioned in this verse serve to explain the three main principles, namely Adhyatma, which is the living entity, Adhidaiva, the controlling living entity, and Adhibhutam, which is the different forms of matter, like the tongue, the palate. So, we go to verse number 19, and I request Shanta Radhika Mataji to please read. माताजी आप ठीक तो हो ना?
यस प्रभु जी।
ठीक है,
हाँ, यहाँ पे ठंड बहुत है ना दिल्ली में।
हाँ फिर ठीक, ओके गो टू टेक्स्ट 19.
विवक्षोर्मुखतो भुम्नो बहिर्वाग व्याहतं तयो जले चैतस्य सुचिरं निरोध समजायत. When the supreme desire to speak, speeches are vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire are generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. So, when the Supreme Lord, when the Purusha, Lord Vishnu, desired to speak, then speeches were vibrated from the mouth. Then the controlling deity fire, our Vak Shakti, the controlling deity is fire. Just like for the tongue, the taste, it is Varun. The controlling deity fire was generated from the mouth. But when he was lying in the water, all these functions remained suspended. When Lord Vishnu is not active, then we are also not active. When Lord Vishnu desires activity, then we get the power. We get the Oja Shakti to act. The purport is very important. Please listen carefully. The peculiarity of the gradual development of the different senses is simultaneously supported by their controlling deities. So the different senses that the material body has, for those senses to develop, the controlling deity of that sense is required, support is required from the controlling deity. Ādi Daivik. It is to be understood, therefore, that the activities of the sense organs are controlled by the will of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity deputed by the Supreme Lord. So it is like this. We are employees of a company, and our job is to take things, transport things for the company from one place to the other. And the company has a motor vehicle department, and we are given a motor vehicle on lease to go and do the duty that we are supposed to do. Now we are supposed to use that vehicle for the work of the company. The person who is signing out that car to us is the Ādi Daivik, the controlling deity. He is not supreme. Supreme is the owner of the company, but the owner of the company has made this arrangement that we go to the vehicle department, just sign out a vehicle for us, go do the task for the company, and then, like for example, in a school, there are 100 school buses, correct? Vamshodhan Prabhu, correct? There are so many school buses for a particular school. The bus drivers don't own those buses, but they get to drive it for a few hours every day. You go, you take the key, you start the bus, you load the children, drop them to their home, bring the bus back and park it where you're supposed to park it. Now, if the bus driver takes the bus home, that I want to take my family for vacation, it's not going to work, because that vehicle has been given to you for a specific purpose and you have to use it for that purpose exclusively. Similarly, this human body has been given to us for bhajan. That is the purpose of human life. But if we use it for nefarious purposes, then we will be punished. So, the senses are, so to speak, offering a license for the conditioned souls who are to use them properly under the control of the controlling deity, deputed by the Supreme Lord Krishna. One who violates such controlling regulations has to be punished by degradation to a lower status of life. So if a bus driver has taken the bus for a week, it's New Year's, I'm going with my family with the school bus. Then when he comes back, will he be allowed to continue as a bus driver? No, his license will be taken, the keys will be taken, the bus will be taken, and he will be let go, do something else. So similarly, we have to go. If we don't use the human body properly, which is given to us by Krishna, then what will Krishna say? You like to eat meat? Become a cat. Cats are obligate carnivores. Become a cat, become a tiger, become a lion. You like to be naked? Become a tree. Just stand like this for years. So like that. Consider, for example, the tongue and its controlling deity, Varuna. The tongue is meant for eating, and men, animals, and birds each have their different tastes because of different licenses. The taste of human beings and that of the pigs are not on the same level. The controlling deity Varun Dev, however, awards a particular type of body when the particular living entity develops a taste in terms of different modes of material nature. If the human being develops taste without discrimination, just like a pig, then the controlling deity Varun Dev is certainly certified for the next term to award him with a body of a pig. If we are eating uncontrolled, whatever we want, then we will become a pig in the next life. The pig accepts any kind of foodstuff, including stool. And a human being who has developed such indiscriminate taste must be prepared for a degraded life in the next life. I remember once I had gone to one relative's house. I have told this experience many times. And it was unavoidable. It was a very close family relative. So I had to go for that important event. And I had told them I will not eat anything because I have a lot of restrictions in my diet. But I will just come to spend time with all of you because it's an important event. So I go there and they offer me cake. The cake has egg. So I politely refuse. Then they say, what do you eat? They offered me some meat to eat, some barbecue meat to eat. So I said, no, I don't eat. Then they took those same barbecue sticks, removed the meat and put paneer on that with some capsicum and put it. They said, eat this. I said, shh, I cannot eat it. There was meat on that. Everything is contaminated. Just don't worry. I'm full. I'm not hungry. So I don't want. So then they were all having glasses there. They were drinking wine and they took a glass. They poured some fruit juice in it, orange juice, and gave me. I said, I don't want, because those glass also, I don't know what has been drunk in those glasses and whose lips have touched that glass. Just leave me alone. I don't want to eat. I cannot eat any of this. So my uncle came and chastised me. He said, you were such a nice boy when you were growing up. I don't know what has happened to you. You have become so fussy. I will not eat this. I will not eat that. I cannot do this. I cannot do that. What's wrong with you, Abhay? Look at me. Anything, you give me anything. I have no restrictions. I am not at all fussy like you. कुछ भी लाके रख दो, मैं खा जाऊंगा. He did like this. मैं खा जाऊंगा. And I was reminded of this purport. So give me anything, मैं खा जाऊंगा. I will eat anything. Give me anything. I am not fussy like you. I am very kind to my host. My host can give me anything. मैं खा जाऊंगा. I will eat it up. He even told me, give me beef. I will eat it. Why should I inconvenience my host? This is the philosophy. Just खा जाओ. So then, if we are indiscriminate, Prabhupada says, if a human being develops taste without discrimination, like a swine, like a pig, then next life he will be given the body of a pig. Hare Krishna. If a man gets the body of a pig, it must be considered the grace of the Lord, because Krishna awards them the facility that they want. After death, the next body is offered by superior control. Karana gunasangasya sadasad yoni janmasu. It's not offered blindly. It is daivanetrena. Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, daivanetrena. A human being, therefore, must be on his guard as to what sort of body he is going to have in the next life. An irresponsible life of indiscrimination is risky. If you drink whiskey, it is very risky. And that is the declaration of all scriptures. We have to be very careful. Shamchandra Prabhu, please read text number 20. We cannot hear you, Prabhuji. Something is not right, Prabhuji. We are not able to hear you at all. Okay, now try unmuting. Prabhuji, we cannot hear you. No, Prabhuji. Okay, let's try Nitya Lila Gaurangi Mataji. Can you read verse number 20? Then we'll come back to Shamchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Then Doctor.
नासिके निरभिद्येतां दोधूयति न भस्वति तत्र वायुर्गन्धवहो घ्राणो नसि जिघृक्षतः. Translation. Thereafter, when the Supreme Purusha desired to smell odors, the nostrils and respirations were generated, the nasal instrument and odors came into existence, and the controlling deity of air, carrying smell, also became manifested.
So in this way, different senses are coming into existence because Krishna desires. So our nasika, our nose, our granendriya is there because Krishna desired. The nasal instrument, odor, and the controlling deity of air, smelling, etc., all became manifested simultaneously when Lord Vishnu desired to smell. This is the thing. Then Shamchandra Prabhu, are you able to unmute now? Text 21. We are not able to hear you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Shamsundar Prabhuji. Probably you may have to select a mic from the arrow which is along with the mute button. So probably that might be an issue.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Okay, Shama Vallavi Mataji, can you try in the meantime? Text 21.
तस्य ज्योतिश्चक्षुर्गुणग्रहः. Hare Krishna. Translation. Thus, when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's sun, the power of vision, and the object of sight all became manifested. Hare Krishna.
So, when everything was dark, the Purusha, Avatar, Lord Vishnu desired to see, and then everything was created. The eyes, illuminating God, sun, the power of vision, and the object that is to be seen, everything became manifest. The universe is by nature dense darkness, and therefore the total creation is called tamas, or darkness. So the spiritual sky is very beautiful, effulgent, bright, and in the spiritual sky there is a dark cloud, which is the Mahatattva, where the material creation takes place. The night is the real feature of the universe, for then one cannot see anything, including oneself. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well, and thus the sun became manifested. The power of vision for all living entities became possible, and the objects of vision were also manifested. This means that the total phenomenal world became visible after the creation of the sun. And the sun god is the disciple of Lord Krishna. Then text 22, who did not get a chance to read? Shamchandra Prabhu, you want to try one more time? You are the only one.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, am I audible now?
Yes, loud and clear.
I just came out of Zoom and again logged in, so it's solved.
Oh, solved. Okay, good.
Okay, so we are on verse number 22, no Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Bodhyamanasya rishibir atmanastad jigrikshata karnau cha nirapityetam dishaha shrotram gunagraha. Translation. By the development of the desire of the great sages to know, the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the self. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So your self is with a capital S, uppercase S, which means Krishna, the Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma. So by the development of the desire of the great sages to know, the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing became manifested. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, as stated in Sri Bhagavad Gita, By advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of material nature, laws of physics, laws of chemistry, laws of biology. No, not just that. Because that is all working under Krishna's direction. Maya dhakshana prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instruments of hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Krishna gave us the power of hearing so that we can hear about Krishna. Shrunvata swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti surit satam. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibrations of mundane affairs, news, Bollywood, Hollywood songs, pop music, rock and roll music, so many political debates, so many things that have nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. The great sages were interested in hearing about Lord Krishna through Vedic knowledge, Shruti. Nothing more. That is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge. That's how this oral reception of knowledge began. Shruti, where you hear about Krishna. So, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We covered till verse number 22. In the next session, we will continue from text 23. I believe there are 51 verses in this final chapter of the second canto. And starting tomorrow for the next 1 month, I have shifts in the hospital from 4 p.m. to midnight. So we will not be able to have the evening sessions, Bhakti Vaibhava, Jaiva Dharma, Ambarish Charitra, even the local in-person programs in my work week. Of course, in my off weeks, we will continue as usual. We are almost at the end of module number 3. So my request to all of you is utilize this time to finish the open book exam and the videos that you have to upload of recitation of the verses and the translation. Translation does not have to be accurate, does not have to be exact like it is there in Srimad Bhagavatam, but you can explain it in your own words, but the explanation should be correct. And then, should we have the exam next week? I know we have not finished the chapter, but remember the closed book exam has 2 parts. One is the first half and the second half. So can all of you finish the second half at least? The first half at least next week? And Nityalila Gauranga, you don't worry. Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji will be in touch with you. She will give you the papers for the first and second module, and you can finish it at your own convenience. But other devotees, would you all like to finish the first half of the closed book exam next week? Shama Kishore Mataji is not looking too enthusiastic. Okay, so raise your hand if you want to respond to this question. Yes, Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this first half, I don't know what is it. So I can try to give if it is,
So the closed book exams, we do it in 2 parts because it's very long exam. So we don't do it in 1 day. We split it into 2 halves. So now this module has the entire second canto, correct? Mm-hmm. So there are questions from all the 10 chapters, and there are 10 chapters. So what we do is the closed book exam, where we don't open the book, we have to know the answers. That we do on Zoom like this. We all come on Zoom just as usual, and we take the exam. And I give the questions just at the time of the exam. So the closed book exam, we do it over 2 days. First 5 chapters of second canto will be the first session, and chapter 6 to 10 will be the second session. So my suggestion is next week, if not Tuesday, at least on Thursday, why don't you all finish the first part of the closed book exam? And
will that be on the Zoom?
on Zoom, closed book exam on Zoom. And then also keep working on the open book exam. Open book exam you can do this week, next week, there is no problem. It's open book exam. And the questions are already there. Did Vasudha Bhagwati Vasudha Mataji give you the PDF for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, she sent me, Prabhuji, and I spoke to her also. Mataji kindly helped me. So, Prabhuji, this module I can try with everybody
Yeah. Try with everybody.
else. I can, yeah. The previous two, maybe I'll need some more time. So
Take your time. Okay, take your time. Take
So
your time.
Prabhuji, today is
Thank you.
2nd. Next session would be on 4th.
I'm just looking at my schedule, Prabhuji.
Yeah, 4th session, right?
4th, no session.
And then you are saying that we can do the exam either on 9th or 11th based
So
on
9th I am free, actually.
Okay.
So 9th I can continue with this chapter. 10th also I am free. 11th I am working. I have got that. No, 11th also I am free. I have got day shift. Oh, so no problem. So then 9th and 11th we can have sessions. So in those 2 sessions we can definitely finish this chapter. And then next week after that, January 16th and January 18th, I am not there. I am doing the evening shift. So January 16th and January 18th, can we have the exams? Part 1, Part 2? Look at your calendar. January 16th and 18th.
time, Prabhu.
Huh?
I think that is sufficient time for everyone to prepare if they need.
Because today is 2nd.
Yes.
So January 16th and 18th, we will have session 1 and session 2 of module 3 closed book exam. Everybody okay with that? Hari bol? Shyam Chandra Prabhu? Hari bol. Okay, everybody looks good. So we'll do that. Now till that time, you finish your videos of the verse memorization and finish the open book exams, okay? Start sending them. So as I get time, I will start correcting. Second module, the second module, everybody has received all your scores. Okay. So okay, so that's what I wanted to announce. Now we'll go to questions. Shama Kishori Mataji, then Shama Vallavi Mataji, then Shyam Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Thank you very
Shama
much.
Kishori Mataji, Shama Vallavi Mataji, Shyam Chandra Prabhu. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class. Wonderful class. I had a question on text 17, Prabhuji. Here it says the desires for all kinds of sense perception and sense organs exist in the Supreme, and thus they take place in the individual persons. But like, when there are sinful desires or evil desires, they are not there in the Supreme, right? So then why do human beings or individuals have those kinds of desires?
Like what example?
Any sinful desires, like somebody is committing a crime, for
So
example.
see that we discussed in Jaiva Dharma, in the first chapter of Jaiva Dharma. That we discussed class salwa. Hare Krishna. So in Jaiva Dharma we saw how there is the original dharma of a vastu, and then there is nisarga. Nisarga means that same dharma becomes perverted. Although for us nisarga sounds like natural, nature. In Marathi nisarga means nature, but nisarga means it's a perverted nature. For example, water's nature is to flow, and when the water is subjected to freezing temperature, that same water will become solid. Like you live in a cold place, Mataji, na? So then sometimes those lakes also freeze when it is winter.
Yes.
Normally the lake is very liquid. We can dive, we can jump, we can swim. But when the lake becomes frozen, it becomes solid. And but is that the normal nature of water? Although for months it may remain solid, but actually that is nisarga. That is a perversion in its original nature. So desires are there in Krishna, and good desires are there in Krishna, and good desires are supposed to be in us. Because there are good desires in Krishna, good desires are supposed to be in us. But when you forget Krishna, those same desires become perverted and they become evil desires. Those evil desires are not in Krishna, but those evil desires have developed in us, just like flowing liquid water becomes solid ice. Similarly, our desires also become very sinful because of forgetfulness of Krishna, because of being away from Krishna.
So Prabhuji, all kinds of desires are not there in Krishna then. Only good desires are there.
Correct. Krishna is all good. So desires are there in Krishna. They are all good desires, and only good desires are there in us constitutionally. They're supposed to be in us. But because of our contact with material nature, because of forgetfulness of Krishna, those same good desires have become perverted. Like a child, Mataji. A child is innocent by birth. है ना? Child is innocent by birth. Now, there are two brothers. They are twins. One brother is brought up in a very nice devotee family. So we'll have good samskar, we'll have good behavior. Another child, suppose they get separated and is brought up by some criminals, then he will give bad words. He will not think twice before committing a crime. You know? So then that nature has become perverted. Even though constitutionally he was innocent. So because we have been in bad association for many, many lifetimes, we have these evil desires. But evil desires like murder, rape, this is not there in Krishna. Krishna is all good, and Krishna has only pure good desires. And that's what we are also supposed to have, because we are Krishna's part and parcel. Mama Amsha Jiva Loka.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shama Vallavi Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, whether the causal ocean and the Viraja river, is it the same? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Honey, I heard your question, but I'm not so sure. So let me read about this.
Okay, Prabhuji.
In my reading, I have also had that little confusion. So let me read a little bit about that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Second question is that when a person dies, the same subtle body travels, na, Prabhuji. So when a person is born again and he identifies that false ego, he identifies another body. So will the mind and intelligence changes, Prabhuji, according to that body? For example, pig body means that pig eats stool and all. So my doubt is that whether the mind and intelligence also changes according to that body.
So the mind and the intelligence is the subtle body, and I have heard both the versions. I have also heard that the same subtle body carries the soul from different species, and I have also heard that a new mind is given. But from what my understanding is, it is the same mind, the same subtle body that consisting of mind, intelligence, and false ego that carries the soul from one species to the next, one birth to the next. And the proof for that is in Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Bharat Maharaj. How Bharat Maharaj became a deer, but even in the physical body of a deer, because the mind was the same, the memory was the same, the remembrance was there by Krishna's mercy, that in my previous life I was Bharat Maharaj, I gave up everything to attain Krishna, but then I got distracted by a deer. And then again, as Jada Bharat also, he had memory of his previous two lifetimes as Bharat Maharaj as well as the deer. So my understanding is that the subtle body carries the soul from one life to the next, and only when the jiva attains Vaikuntha, the subtle body ceases to exist. There is no subtle body in the spiritual world. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Is that what your question was? Correct?
Yeah, my question is that, for example, a man, his desire is not good, then he becomes a pig in the next birth. But how he eats stool, whether his mind and intelligence, he accommodates that different body.
Correct. So this is mentioned in our Shastra, where Indradev, he was, by his own karma, he had to become a pig for some time. That story is there in the Puranas. Indradev had to leave heaven and become a pig on earth. So how does someone whose mind intelligence is that of Indra now suddenly identify with the body and the life of a pig and behave like a pig? So because of ahankar, because whichever body we get, the ahankar completely identifies with that body, there is a downgradation of the mind and the intelligence. Although it is the same mind and intelligence, it is downgraded, and it starts operating like that. For example, the software, if the machine is not working properly, the software in the computer may be very advanced, but the software will not be able to do its work. It will not be able to manifest because the software will be limited by the poor hardware. So similarly, the mind intelligence is same, but when the body is downgraded, then there is a software downgrade also along with that, which is capable of working in that downgraded body. And then Indra had to be upgraded by Narad Muni. Narad Muni comes and tells Indra that, come on, your term is over as a pig. Now let's go back to Amravati. Let's go back to Swargalok. So by Sadhu Kripa, then there is upgradation. So like that, it is because the body gets downgraded, then the subtle body also undergoes a degradation so that it can operate in the downgraded material body. Is that okay, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I have
Prabhuji.
even heard in one Bhagavatam class, but I don't have a scriptural reference, so I was not quoting it. I have even heard that when there is a downgradation, then the person is so much beaten by the Yamdutas before that low body is given, that by that beating, the subtle body also becomes very weak and disturbed. And they beat the subtle body down to that level of consciousness, that you are a pig, you are a pig, you are a pig, you think like a pig, you think like a pig. And then a pig body is given. And then therefore the mind and the intelligence also operates on the platform of a pig. I have heard this, but I don't have any Shastric reference for that. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Last two questions, Kirdita Sundari Mataji and then Shamchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, then with pranams. Prabhuji, the question that I have is that the order that which we were going through in the second canto, that how Sukhdev Goswami is describing, first about the tongue, then the taste, then the eyes, then the ears. So is it the same that how it is developed? It's a chronological order that he's giving, or it's just, you just want to say this thing that because the Supreme Lord desires, therefore the human living entities also have the same thing?
There is no chronology mentioned here, Mataji. So it is just, it is not chronological, but they are mentioned one by one, one after one. That
So it's not like first the air comes, then the fire, then the water, then the earth.
Oh, that is there. Those material elements, how they come from subtle to gross, and they during annihilation they go from gross to subtle. That is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm talking about the sense organs, eyes, nose, ears, like that.
But the controlling deities are associated, like it is said that for tongue, the water is needed. For seeing eyes, fire is needed.
For speech, this Agni is required.
For eyes, sun.
Yeah. So what were you saying?
Moon for the mind.
Yeah. So Prabhuji, like, because these controlling deities are needed, so are they also manifested in the same way, or they are always there, but they are given the task of taking care? I don't know. Maybe I'm not able to express my question.
In this purport that we read towards the end, Srila Prabhupada said that the sun god manifested first, the Ādi Daiva manifested first, and then the Adhibhuta manifested. Remember in that purport Prabhupada said, therefore the sun came first. So that understanding we can have, but exactly which demigod came first, that even I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Last question, Shamchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, mine is not a question, but I'd raised my hand when you announced the dates for the closed book examination.
Yeah.
So nothing. I mean, I just wanted to express that starting today for 3 weeks, we'll be busy serving Sripad Mukundatta Prabhu, who's expected to come to our house today.
Right.
And so I think he'll stay with us till maybe 24th or 25th. I'm not sure. So I don't know what the program and how it will pan out serving him, because I'm arranging few programs for him in Thane and few other places here, and Andheri, Ambernath and all those places. So I'll still make an attempt, definitely, you know, on those days, 16th and 18th, if I'm at home at that particular hour, and then I'm not, you know, I'll try to make myself available, and then I'll try to appear for the exam. That's all.
Or you can do
Because
it afterwards also, after Prabhuji returns to Vrindavan, you can do afterwards also, no problem. We can make that. Okay?
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
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 His Grace Amarendra Prabhu ki jai.
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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare